income that you pay your bills. Um, 5 or more a day is going to get you is really going to get you to RVP. That's really going to be what pushes you to where you're trying to get to, and trying to get you to reach your goals and stuff like that. That is really honestly going to be that 5 or so a day. And so we have to make sure we're doing the things that we need to be doing every single day, right? We need to be putting our inputs, like Ellie and we just talked about that, right? We need to make sure you're putting your inputs in. And when you put your inputs in earlier in the day, it's much less stressful than trying to do it later, right? Like, and that's why I'm really big on you guys going to bed on time, getting up on time, and doing the things you need to do in the morning to take care of yourself, working out, making sure your food's ready, doing your spiritual stuff, your Bible study, whatever that might be. Because once you're done with all that stuff, and then you get on this call at 8 o'clock, when you're done, all the messages are already sent, excuse me, all your messages are sent, all your friend requests are sent. You've added 15, 20 people to your list, right? All you got to do the rest of the day, Amber, is make 5 or 10 calls and you're done. And then if you have any appointments that you need to run, then obviously you run those. Those appointments are a byproduct of your inputs, right? The appointments that we have to run during the day are a byproduct of the inputs that we do earlier, the messages, stuff like that, right? And when you don't have a lot of activity, when somebody messages you back and says, I'll post for you, or I'm interested, or whatever, and you tell them that we'll set up an interview, it's really easy for you to say, hey, are you available today or tomorrow? What's better? Right? Because if they're available that same day, right? If they're if they're able to come in that exact same day, then you just run that appointment the same day because you have the activity. You don't have to do a bunch of stuff later because you have already done it. So I'm going to make sure you guys understand how important it is. And if I I know I hit you guys with activity all the time. I know I talk to you guys about your activity and setting more appointments and stuff like that all day, but I would not be hounding that over and over again if it wasn't the most important thing in your business. Does it make sense? Like, I'm on you guys about your activity levels because I look at people that have high activity, and generally cash flow is higher on people that have higher activity, especially in the beginning when it's based on you and your license, and you don't have anybody else that is not like, or that is licensed working on your team, and you don't have any overrides, right? Because if Brian, if it's just you with no licensed people on your team, you're the only person that you can get paid from. So the activity has to come from somewhere. Does it make sense, guys? So I wanted to I wanted to open it up for questions this morning. I wanted to give you guys a chance to ask any questions about running the play or the social media stuff. Thank you guys for being cool with the whole office hopping on Saturday for that training. That was awesome. But what questions do you guys have about social media, about running the play, messages, the scripts, anything like that? How can I help you guys specifically with that today? Because our goal, double-digit recruiting, gets you a windbreaker this month. And Angie Pangborn is going to be making that windbreaker for us. It's going to be awesome with our logo on it. And it's going to say double-digit recruiter on the back. I'm still waiting to get a mock-up for it, but that is the incentive for the month, right? That is literally like double-digit recruiting personally gets you a windbreaker. So Romeo, what's up, man? How can I help you?
How can you like stay motivated after hearing so many no's, like
Um,
in social media?
yeah, so social media is not a place that you go to get a high percentage of yeses. Okay. So you're not on social media with the full intention of like everyone I message is going to say yes. The reality is most people on social media are going to probably say no or not respond. But it's just a volume business, right? On social media, it's like if you look at like direct mail, for instance, like, you guys familiar with direct mail? You know what that is? Like, you get a little postcard in your actual mailbox from like an insurance company or something like that. That is like a 0.5 to a 1% success rate that they get that. Yeah, exactly. Like, they get, it's like a one, let's say it's a 1% success ratio. So Romeo, they don't get mad about the 99% that don't call them. They're happy with the 1% that does, because they know that the 1% that does is going to pay all the bills, right? It's going to be the thing that covers all of that. It brings in all the clients, and it brings in new people that are going to be able to give referrals. So the other side to that is motivation. how do I put this nicely? Motivation is useless. Like, I'm just gonna be honest with you.
Exactly.
Like you can't just like I am. There are days that I'm motivated and there are days that I'm not. But what I am is I'm very disciplined to do the stuff I need to do every day. And that's what's going to build your business. That's what's going to build your mindset. That's what's going to give you the ability to 6 months down the road, a year, 2 years down the road, be able to look back and say, you know what, I do deserve to be making 100 grand a year because I've done this every day for the last 2 years. Right? You're building that belief in yourself right now, Romeo, that you're going to do what it takes every day. You're going to add the people every day. You're going to prospect every day. You're going to make the phone calls every day. And there's going to be a lot of days that you get no's. There's also going to be a lot of days. There's going to be a lot of days that you get a lot of yeses too. So you can't rely on, if you rely on motivation, you're going to quit. And that's for every single one of you on this call. If you rely on being motivated to do what it takes to win, I will not see you next Monday because you're not going to be, because we're people. We're not going to be motivated for more than like 24 to 48 hours, most likely, unless you have a huge why. So if motivation is pointless, I don't want to say pointless. It's good to get you started. Let me rephrase that a little bit. Motivation is a good thing to use to get you started, but the discipline is going to be what gets you to the point that you're trying to go. Doing it every day, doing it when you don't think you should or you can, doing it when you've got 10% battery left on your phone and it's like, do I watch reels for 45 minutes or do I send my messages? Like picking the harder option, which is sending the messages. That's Romeo, that's when you build in yourself the ability to trust yourself. Does that make sense? Like, I can't tell you how many times I've gone in my life and done things that were very difficult on purpose because I wanted to be able to trust myself in a hard situation. Like, if my back's against the wall, I know I'm going to get out one way or another because that's just how I am. Like, I've put myself in so many situations like that for that exact reason. So, Romeo, I hope that was helpful. Don't rely on being motivated, because if you're relying on being motivated, it's not going to last very long. Be disciplined, be focused, and do the things that you know you need to do every day, and know that on the other side of you doing those things every day, you're going to start to have some success. But again, it is going to take a little bit of time to get there. And if you're relying on social media for your business, this goes for everybody. If your main focus is getting your business on social media, you need to, like, you must make sure you have a clean profile picture, a good background. You're not posting any political crap on your Facebook. And it's all about like selling the dream in business and your lifestyle and what you're doing. And like being a real person. Like, I'm just, if you're fully relying on social media, you need to go look at your social media and make sure it actually makes sense. Because if all you're doing is posting like cat memes and political crap on Facebook, no one is ever going to follow you. I don't care like how good your post is. So we need to make sure we know what our objective is on Facebook too, and cater to that. So that's a great question, Romeo. Thank you for asking that. Hopefully other people got something out of that as well. What other questions you guys got? We got about 10 minutes ish left. Amber, go ahead.
So I'm pretty sure I know the answer to this question, but I have my Facebook set to where anybody that tags me in something, I have to review it before it, like posts to my page.
Yeah.
When I have people post for me, I usually just leave those tags sitting in there because, like, if I have 2 or 3 people posting at the same time, I don't want that on my page, correct?
Yes,
okay,
exactly. Yep. So I have, if you go into my reviewed tags on Facebook, it's like 99% job opportunity posts. And the cool thing is you can go back to that folder and you can go and revisit all of those posts at some point in time. So if you're low on activity for the week, you can go back to all those posts and message all those people again and stir some stuff up again. But yeah, definitely. Yeah, you don't want your Facebook page to be a page of collected job opportunity posts. Not ideal. So cool. That was a good question. What else, guys? What else you got? How can I help you? Does anyone else? Y'all are so quiet this morning.
Well, you answered mine already this morning.
For people to show up.
What'd you say?
Is there anything I can do differently for people to show up?
No, I mean, yes. So like, let's talk about yesterday. Right? What's that?
Is that just the nature of the numbers? That's to be
Yeah.
expected.
Partially, yeah. So there's a couple of things like the warmer, the hotter, the warmer the market, the more likely they're going to show up, right? So the better you know them, the more likely it's that they're going to show up generally. Okay, now that's the first factor. The second factor is about 50% show up anyway, right? That's just how it is. And so yesterday, like Caprice, you had 3 appointments. One didn't respond, one did show up, the other one wanted to reschedule. So we just got to reschedule the one. So that's pretty average numbers. Like there's nothing, it is what it is. We didn't close the one. You probably, and I'll just be honest, if we did close that one that we were on yesterday, probably would feel a little bit better about the one showing up versus not, you know what I mean? Like that would just be because of a positive outcome. And the book I'm reading right now, actually, it's called Thinking in Bets by Annie Duke, talks about that. Like think about it this way, like, Caprice, if someone else had the same scenario that you had yesterday, would you tell them that it was the business didn't work or that it was just the day that not very many people showed up, right? And it's probably you to say it's just the day that not very many people showed up. You're muted, by the way, but yeah. So, and I'm not saying that you're like mad or yelling at anybody or anything like that, but it's just knowing the looking at it from the statistical standpoint of like there are going to be some days that it just people don't show up for whatever reason. There's going to be some days that you have 7 appointments showed up, Caprice, and they're all scheduled at 2, 3, and 4 o'clock, and everyone shows up. You're like, crap, what do I do with all of these appointments? It's just the nature of the business. But that's also why I tell you guys all the time, you don't want to just have 1 appointment scheduled every day. You want to, if you have 4 appointments scheduled every day, statistically speaking, you're going to close something every day. 2 won't show up, 2 will, 1 will close. That's why for me, I really do my best to have 4 to 8 appointments at least scheduled every single day, because I know I will close something every day if I have 4 to 8 appointments on my calendar. So it's, yesterday I think was a very accurate representation of how the numbers just work themselves out. So great job setting those up. Yeah. And then the other thing too is just sending like, you could set a follow-up, a couple of days after you, like, so you set those appointments on Tuesday. One thing maybe you could have done a little bit, I don't want to say better, but one thing you could have done instead is like, hey, Thursday, hey, super excited to meet with you on Sunday, on Saturday, hey, can't wait to meet with you tomorrow. Here's the link, which you did that. And that's the best you can do. That's also why we want to try to schedule things for like 2 to 3 days at the most away, because the further out you schedule it also, the more likely it is to reschedule or cancel or no show as well. So I don't think you did anything wrong. I think you did everything just fine. This is part of the numbers. We had 3 appointments yesterday. 1 showed up. We didn't close it. If we would have had 4, 2 would have showed up. We would have closed 1. So it is what it is. It's all right. I would just follow up with those other 2. So it was a good question. Josh, what's up, man?
Oh, I was simply saying that just some mindset stuff where, we get discouraged sometimes about that one person that doesn't show up. But that one person that does is going to take you on is 3,000 premium, 5,000 premium. You know what I'm saying? Every time I get discouraged, I know that I'm one person away from making $1,000. And I keep that in the back of my mind every time I do whatever I do. I just have to find that person because one of them is going to be that one.
Yeah, that's good. And that's, yeah, I mean, honestly, like if you just, hey, those 2 people didn't show up, maybe they will, maybe they won't, who knows? But we didn't have to waste an hour on a Zoom call with them if they weren't going to move forward anyway, so that's that's another thing. That's a good mindset as well. Anything else, guys? Any other questions? Anything like that?
I did want to say to Josh, your one-on-one was definitely motivating. Great job last night with that, because I was feeling a little discouraged, but after last night's one-on-one, you did very well with, motivating and, with that last night. So, kudos.
Good job, Josh. All right. Any other questions, guys? It's Monday morning, so raise your hand if you got any questions. But I do want to say this: Mondays, you actually, in my opinion, Sunday sets the tone for the week. But today is your first day of the week, right? What are you doing today to make this week different than last week? Right? How are you going to make this week different than last week? What are you going to do to make sure that you hit your numbers this week, that you hit your goal this week, right? How are we going to make sure that we are moving forward in our business. What are some safeguards or some bumpers, if you will, that you're putting in place to make sure you get your things done, your messages, your posts, your DMs, stuff like that. What's up, Romeo? What you got? Romeo's
I
out here
spoke
trying to
with
get
my
all the done.
trainer about this, Jenna,
Yeah,
that I'm gonna start walking to the library. So I'm like in a work environment because I found myself a little bit slackish when I'm at home.
yeah.
I'm gonna
That's
be
good.
walking to the library with my computer.
That's good. And that's why I'm at the office right now and not at my house, because I woke up this morning and I was like, I don't want to do anything. I literally asked Ellie, and I woke up at 7:20 and I jumped on our 7:30 Redeemers call, which a lot of you should have been on, but you weren't. And I coached the two of them that were on that call. And I was in the car the whole way here. Because I just had to get out of that environment today for whatever. I woke up, I was like, I got to get out of this environment. Like I could just feel that I was not going to do anything. So I had to leave. Not that I don't love my house or my family. I just had to get out of I had to get out of that environment for the day. So that's good. And I think if you're working at home in general, I know a lot of you guys do, you should have an environment that is set up to be, like a conductor of work, if that makes sense at all. Like think about like a battery or electricity and water. Like water is a conductor for the energy and the electricity, right? So what is your conductor at your house of your work? Like, do you walk into a place and it makes you want to fight for your dreams and your goals? Or do you walk to your dirty kitchen table like I do at my house and you just sit there and you're like, this sucks, I don't want to do this, right? I have an office, which is kind of a luxury, but a lot of you guys are working from home. And if you have like a laptop set up in a 12 by 12 inch square and everything around you is chaos, that doesn't scream success, right? I'm just being honest with you. Like it just doesn't. And even when I had here, I'll find this. Let me pull this up really quick. I'll find this picture really quick and give you an example. Like when I was working in my basement, guys, like I had a picture that I'm going to try to find right now. I'll put it in the Telegram. But when I was working in my basement, guys, I had like all these different things around me to try to force myself into a mindset of growth, into a mindset of success and winning and hitting my goals, because I like if I just was sitting in my basement, it would have not been conducive of that. Does that make sense? So we have to make sure we have like safeguards and things like that in place to make sure that we're hitting our goals, make sure that we're making progress on where we want to be. Here, some of you guys look like that right now. Your little kitchen, where your kitchen's a mess and everything around you's a dumpster fire. That was me way back when I ran my gym, when Freya was a little baby. But hang on, I'm trying to find this picture. I'm close to it. I know I am. Give me 1 second.
How do you know my kitchen looked like that, Dan?
Right. So here, this picture. Oh, this is a reel. Dang it. Hang on. There it is. Okay. So this picture was after we had moved all of our stuff out of our basement for the most part. But like this little board, this little board right here is that board right there. It's the same thing, right? It's my goals. It's what I'm trying to accomplish. And if you can't see on my heater, right? That silver piping on the heater above that is a whole bunch of like magnets and stickers and a ribbon hanging up, like this $1 billion team that Andy gave us. I had a plaque on the wall that we won at our first trip in Marco Island. And so like, even though it's a basement and it's kind of like not the cleanest and it's not super organized, that's where I built $100,000 plus income in 9 months. I didn't have an office. I didn't have a place to go. I didn't have anybody to come up next to me physically and like, I'm gonna say give you a pat on the butt, but you know what I mean? Give you a little slap on the back and say, you're good, you're gonna be okay. No, I was in my freaking basement all day by myself. But Romeo, to answer your question, I wasn't motivated. I was disciplined. I had no other options, right? I burnt the boats and I went all in. And that's the biggest thing I need you guys to hear is like a lot of people in Primerica, they're full-time, but their spouse has another job somewhere. And so their spouse is paying the bills. So you never really feel the pressure of actually having to make this happen. right? Does that make sense? Like, do you hear, are you hearing what I'm saying here right now? Like a lot of people, they're full-time, but they have another income coming into the household. And so we never have to really get this thing going. We never really have to get this thing just rocking and rolling like it can. And it doesn't take a long time. That's why I'm on you guys. That's why this month we're going to do 150 recruits. We are way behind on our goal right now, by the way. But this month we're going to do 150 recruits in the base shop. And if you double digit recruit, that's going to kind of start that pendulum swing, right? That's going to start the explosion in your business. But you don't, it's not just 1 month. Right? It's Seth, it's 10 recruits this month. So that way, you know, you can do 10 recruits next month again. Right? And then, you know, you can do 10 recruits again the month after that. And Brian, that's where the business builds, right? That's where your team starts to grow, is in that third month of you being consistent. Why does it take 3 months, Crystal? Because you have to get licensed. You got to get trained, right? You have to understand that in your team, you're 90 days away from having, you know, some duplication in there, because you have to learn how to do it first and then teach people. Caprice Base Shop is like your team. Like our base shop is our office, like everyone on our team. But guys, that's all I got for you. I hope that was helpful. Hey, we're getting 10 recruits this month, right? We're getting 10 recruits this month. So how each directs, when are you going to have your 10 directs? And what are you going to do to make it happen? I need you guys to think about that today and put a plan of action in place and go hit your daily minimums on Facebook. Okay, period. Go